In law, a lack of evidence can most times mean there is no case. So, the president of the Nigerian Bar Association, NBA, Yakubu Maikyau, has decried allegations of corruption against judges by some lawyers, reacting to the confusion that greeted the emergence of a certified true copy of the Court of Appeal judgment on a Kano State governorship election. A senior advocate said such comments by lawyers incite the public against the judiciary. Julie, so it was a costly error.
It is. An error is an error. I heard one of the lawyers saying, that the judgment of the court was actually that the Kano State governor won at the level of the appeal court. So I said, okay, let him not appeal. You said he won, Abi. Let him not appeal and let's see what will happen. Because lawyers knew that that thing was an error. Because what was said in open court was different to what was in that page 57 or so. Lawyers, in their heart of heart, they knew it was an error. But we are in a country now where every opinion that people make is influenced by their political lineage. Where they belong politically, you will see it. I've said it. I've been vindicated. There's all kinds of funny comments. Somebody was even speculating that the Supreme Court and the Appeal Court could eventually end up fighting one another. And I'm like, what kind of comment is this? This season that we find ourselves in is an interesting one, that you would think that a conflict can happen between the Supreme Court and the Appeal Court. How? How? One is a superior court.
Superior courts, by all standards.
Yeah, so where will the conflict come from? There are times when there will be congruity in terms of judicial pronouncement by both courts. There are times when, no, they will not agree with one another. It has always been like that. It has always been like that. So, was there any time, not even during the Awolowo era, did we see a conflict between the two courts? So, you see, Olanikwekun is the lawyer to Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf. Olanikwekun said, now we don't need you to correct the error in the CTC. Only the Supreme Court can do that, because the time ceiling within which you can talk about that court matter has already passed. You cannot comment on it. You cannot pass judgment on it. You can't talk about it. That means you cannot even correct a perceived error. The Supreme Court is there to correct it. And he said, look, I don't even have the time anymore. I have 14 days to appeal. The error that you made was, I think, on the 23rd or so. So we can't wait for you. I have to appeal. Because if you didn't appeal within the stipulated time, they've lost the case. It happened in Kaduna and the governorship election, if you remember. That means you've withdrawn, we assume that you've abandoned the matter. So for some lawyers to be saying, oh, what happened in Kano means that it was Abba Kabir Yusuf that won. Whereas what they said in open court, what everybody had, was different to that line in the judgment, in the CTC of the judgment. So, Olanikwekun was not a fool. He proceeded to appeal at the Supreme Court. So, this error was not the first. I mentioned what happened in Taraba, in case of a case before appeal court. And while they are doing cut and paste, the introduction to a matter that was decided in Taraba, maybe because the matters were related, they took it and put it on a case in southern Nigeria. So that's that this, when they are doing cut and paste, either as a result of so much volume of work to do, this sort of thing can happen. Or somebody or some individuals among the clerks, among the secretaries of the judges could actually even sabotage them. But I'm happy that the all-important Presidential Election Petitions Court, as lengthy as that judgment was, we didn't see this kind of error. They must have taken their time, and it's kudos to those judges. Now, if an error like this happens, and you say it is the result of corruption, or the judges have been bribed, talk is cheap. If you are convinced that some judges are guilty of corruption, bring the evidence. Let the NBA lead the charge to have those judges prosecuted, disgraced, and kicked out of the system. It's not enough to just be saying it, you know, just spreading rumors, unsubstantiated claims. No, bring your evidence. We've seen judges put to trial before. We've seen judges dismissed by the NJC before. Bring your evidence. That is what Maikyau is saying. That it is, if lawyers are the ones saying this, it incites the public. It creates terrible reputational damage, you know, to the judiciary. They've got to come up when they have evidence, and I agree. They don't behave like these guys who sit abroad and say, oh, it is Fashola that wrote judgment. What qualifies Fashola to write judgment for judges? You know, those things you can't prove. The man even said he's tired. He has worked for like 15 uninterrupted years. You are still claiming that he wrote judgment. As far as he's concerned, they can't find the energy to even do such a thing. But you that you said it, you have no proof, you have not come up with evidence. You sit abroad and you are stoning your country, lying against people that you don't like. Oh, today it is the DSS. Oh, DSS harass judges that they must give judgment to favor Tinubu. Tomorrow is something else. If you have evidence of corrupt practices by judges, bring the evidence forward so that those judges can be identified and properly shamed.
Adekunle Yusuf, now when you now look at the, according to Yakubu Maikyau here, lawyers are the ones, if, you know, they are meant to respect the courts and follow, you know, understand what the judges are saying. But you see lawyers on TV, they would questioning the characters of the judges and impugning the characters of judges. It's now a common thing now.
I disagree a bit about public incitement, because we are in a democracy. And the fact that they are lawyers does not mean that they are not human beings. You see, the judiciary itself, we need to put its house in order. Whatever you do, you have to find out. And the public, you know, looks at everything. What happened in Kano State, they call it a mere clerical error. That's too embarrassing. In a matter that is already, you know, political matters, how we normally. So in that case, you can't afford to make mistake. That mistake was totally unnecessary. And the fact that nobody has been punished makes me sad. People should be punished. Do you read it? It's not about just putting comma or where you should put 2, you put 3. No. You see many things totally. So, is there no process of somebody, you know, taking care of this?
Overwhelmed. People
are paid to work. If you cannot do it, get rid of them and put people that can work there. What happened in Kano State was a huge embarrassment to the entire Nigerian judiciary. So if people are talking about it, I will not join in saying that they are inciting the judiciary. People may, you know, lawyers can also be mischievous, interpreting it whatever way, because they have, you know, clients here and there and they want to do things to, you know. But at the end of the day, why would the judiciary, appeal court for that matter, at that level, make that kind of mistake? And so far, has anyone been punished? This is what happened, this is what happened. And that is how to, you know, build a system. We are not doing that. You understand what I'm saying? Anyone can make mistakes, but in this country, of situation, you must not. A whole appeal court of Nigeria, and in a matter that is already causing a lot of tension everywhere. And now you now come with mere clerical. No. Somebody deserves to be punished for what happened. And that's how to show people that it was really a mistake.
All right.